battle inside that building, the KFC Yum Center in downtown Louisville today. The hype and intensity level, it's rising. Because look who's in town. The 12th ranked Volunteers, the SEC champs. They face this revived Louisville Cardinals program. First big test of opening week of college hoops for both programs. For Louisville, new era, new roster, new staff, new head coach. Here he is, Pat Kelsey. Ready to go with Eric Devendorf, former Syracuse great. Devin Fitzgerald with you. This place hasn't been rocking like this in a little while. There is a high altitude, a frenzy in here. So, Eric, you just heard Pat Kelsey. They hit the reset button. It's a brand new staff, roster, and as he mentioned, a program that's built on toughness this year.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's an exciting time for Louisville basketball. Energy, intensity, and toughness. Louisville will be ready to play.
And so you see there, when he took the job, just one player was on the roster, one walk-on. And so what did he have to do? He had the staff to go to the transfer portal. 15 first-year transfers. That's a significant number, the most of the ACC. That's really an astonishing figure. Plenty of experienced veteran players, though, that he brought in. We'll get to them in just a moment. Now, the opponent today is the reigning SEC champs. The Tennessee Vols are coming off a prosperous season. They made a run to the Elite Eight, deepest run in program history. 27 wins, that's now 3 straight 25-win seasons, and they're led by the backbone of the program there, Zakai Ziegler.
I tell you what, 800-plus wins for Coach Rick Barnes. This environment is nothing new to him. He will have his Tennessee team ready to go.
This place is going bonkers for the first high-level battle of the year in this building, and one of the premier opening week contests as we get this college hoop season started. There we go. Ron Bruver, Doug Showers, Joe Lindsay, our officials. It's the whiteout with Tennessee, the reigning SEC champs, in the building.
And Kev, right away, we look at the point guard matchup between Hepburn and Ziegler. They are going to be battling all day long.
Yeah, two veterans there. Hepburn, number 24 in the white, just gave it away that time. Zakai Ziegler is the most valuable player, if you will, in this Tennessee starting unit. 4th year with the program. A couple of new faces, 3 first-year transfers starting for Tennessee. They lost a whole lot of production off that Elite Eight team a year ago, including the player of the year of the conference, Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
Drive and kick, this is Ziegler. Shot clock training. Knocked away by Hepburn. And so advantage Louisville, they're on the move now. It is a charged up Yum Center for a pretty important opening week battle. Aaron pass, Ziegler pounces on it, and he finds Igor Milicic, the senior who came over from Charlotte, game's first bucket.
And that's one thing Pat Kelsey was talking about at practice yesterday. Have to be able to take care of the ball, have to be able to secure it to get extra possessions in this basketball game.
Well, what do you expect from the pace and then on the defensive side for both teams today?
Yeah, well, both teams, we talked to both coaches, both teams want to play up and down pace. You would think that would favor the Louisville basketball team. Tennessee is more known as a defensive-minded team that want to muddy it up, but talking to Coach Barnes, he's okay with getting up and down and playing at that pace, so it's going to be a fun game today at Louisville.
This is a very experienced starting 5 that you just saw, but it's 5 first-year players in the Louisville Cardinal uniform. Jemai Meshack just ripped that one away from the Cardinals. Clear for takeoff. There goes Chaz Lanier, fouled on the way up. And so the very prolific scoring 2-guard is going to the line for a pair of free throws.
And Kev, keep an eye on Meshack this whole game. He's the top defender besides Ziegler on this Tennessee Volunteer team. He loves to play off the ball, as you saw there getting the steal.
Well, so Tennessee lost a All-American who scored more than 20 points per game, so good idea to go into the portal, get another prolific scorer like Chaz Lanier. He really feels like he was the most prized piece of that transfer class for Tennessee. Scored 20 a game last year at North Florida. What's his game like?
Yeah, well, look, he's known as a shooter. Obviously, he has a strong body. You know, he's not a guy who's really going to give you a lot of wiggle. It's more of a straight line, get out in transition. A lot of expectations to pick up for Dalton Connect. But I think if he just calms down, eases his way in, he can have a big, big impact for this Tennessee Volunteers team.
Scored 18 in their win on Monday. That's a foul on Igor Milicic. And so Tennessee in the early moments here and expectedly applying the pressure. Louisville will have to handle it. Both teams won their openers on Monday. Pat Kelsey's crew scored 93 points against Morehead State. They looked really sharp defensively as well, so now a level up in competition. Terrence Edwards checks the clock. Edwards guarded closely by Lanier. 3 to shoot. He's going to have to improvise here. Lanier all over him. And another good defensive sequence for Tennessee. However, they nearly weren't able to clear it there on the defensive glass. They luck out after the errant pass. So it's amazing. 10 years now, you blink. 10 years for Rick Barnes in Tennessee. He's 1 win away from becoming the second winningest coach in program history. And all he continues to do is raise the bar at Tennessee. The last 3 years, it's been arguably one of the best 3-year stretches in program history. That's a foul on Hepburn.
Well, yeah,
so savvy move there by Ziegler.
But when you talk about consistency, you talk about Coach Rick Barnes. Everywhere he's been, he just goes there and wins. It's his philosophy, obviously, defense to go in there and lock it down. When we talked to him before the game, he wants to get up and down. He wants to play at that high tempo, and that's how the game of basketball is being played now. It's up and down, it's shooters, it's making quick decisions.
And so Louisville will have to deal with some relentless rebounders on that offensive glass. Casey Pryor quickly off the bench for Louisville, offline at his first look. So here is the veteran guard Meshack. Finds Lanier, steps into the mid-range. That's good.
And he has that, Kevin, obviously known as a three-point shooter, but 1-2 dribbles, getting into that mid-range pull-up. He is an elite basketball player when he can get to that mid-range area.
Yeah, it seems like the sky is the limit for Lanier this year. Tennessee able to sniff out the lob pass. And so here is the backbone of the program. That's Ziegler. That time had it swiped away by James Scott. Fouled from behind.
Yeah, and you would think Ziegler wants that back, being a veteran point guard. You know it's going to be tough to split that screen and roll right there. Louisville with a great job defensively getting out. You see right here, Ziegler, tough job trying to split it. Scott doing a great job on defense, getting out in transition, drawing the foul.
Louisville trying to get on the board here a few minutes in. Only taken a couple of shots, 4 turnovers. That's not going to excite any of the coaches on the bench there. Rain Smith offline. Milicic to the ground, but there's a bump. So that's the second foul on James Scott. He's the sophomore who came with Pat Kelsey from Charleston. He's got to take an early seat.
You know, Louisville just has to calm down, getting into their sets. Obviously, it's harder to play in the half-court set. If they can get out and get easy opportunities in transition, that's what they're looking to do. But Tennessee doing a great job in half-court defense, being on boxes and elbows, helping out each other.
Oh, Devo, that's their specialty. One of the best defensive teams in America for several years now. Illegal screen. And the ball's going back to Louisville. They might have got Akpara there on the baseline. So Louisville takes over.
Kev, we have a great referee crew today, so they're going to call it tight, but they're also going to let them play. You want to see the physicality. Both teams are physical teams, so it's just in this environment, you want to see the guys go at each other, and they're going to get knocked down a few times, but guys are going to get right back up and get after it.
It's charged up in this building. Highly anticipated matchup around this campus and community. Pryor, no. That's Akpara. Strong rebounder in Tennessee's opening win against Gardner-Webb. Milicic might have got whistled for the offensive foul. He does. So that's now 2 on Milicic. It's a physical start to this game, really, on both sides.
Yeah, and that foul right there by Milicic is kind of, now it's about offense, defense. You see Kate Phillips getting in, more of a defender, more of a athletic forward, not a guy who they're really going to go to for scoring.
So again, two starting bigs on either side, each with 2 fouls to the bench. Scott for Louisville, Milicic for Tennessee. Pryor, very dynamic wing. He's got great size, and it's Meshack who's all over him. Noah Waterman's the 3-point threat. Knocked out to Reigns, so a new 20.
You just see how good of a defender Meshack is. I mean, he's just up in you, he's crowding you, he's just making it tough for you to make a decision out there.
Charged up environment. Tennessee, though, has got the 6-0 lead. Pat Kelsey's first signature matchup as a head coach of this program. Let everybody know around campus this week, too.
Hey, you going to the game?
I am going to the game. I got my ticket.
Fired up about it?
Oh, yeah.
Going? Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
What's up? Absolutely. 12 o'clock Saturday at the Young.
there.
All right. Everybody at the Young, 12 o'clock on Saturday versus Tennessee. Louisville, Tennessee at the Young. Wind up to see everybody there.
And always be recruiting, right? Going around campus this week, letting everybody know, hey, we've got a relatively important battle coming up. So does that not illustrate, perhaps, who Pat Kelsey is, the 49-year-old proud Cincinnati native? You said it in the open. He's a program rejuvenator at Winthrop. Led that program to several conference championships and a pair of NCAA tournaments. The last 3 years, Charleston dominated the CAA. They tore through their opponents, won the regular season and conference tournament titles each of the last couple of years. So, by the way, I liked your, we've got this signature Pat Kelsey branded glasses that you had going on there.
Yeah,
I feel like my vision, this is 2020 vision, my friend.
And right away,
it's a good look.
I feel like I have that Kelsey energy. You know, just seeing that video, it just goes to say what type of person he is. He's a program builder. He was preaching yesterday all day in practice about culture, about loving each other, about paying attention to detail. And it starts at the top with him. Pat Kelsey is doing everything that he talks about for this Louisville program.
It's a good look for you. You got to wear those the rest of the week.
Yeah, I feel good.
Here's Lanier. The vision is good there. So that's his second jumper from the paint. He's got 6 of Tennessee's 8. Got a couple at the line as well. So a fine start for Chaz Lanier. You know, externally, a lot of weight placed on his shoulders. I think folks think he could be a high scorer in this offense this year. Pryor knifes in. Waterman smothered at the rim. Tennessee coming back the other way. Here goes Estrella. That's blocked. Phillips follows. Yes. What a sequence. One side to the other.
And we talked about Phillips coming in as a defender, and he shows it there on the other end. But then he sprints down, Kev on the other floor, and gets the putback. That's what these Tennessee bigs bring to the table. Athletic, energy, enthusiasm, a big difference.
Reigns Smith lifts the lid for Louisville. So their first basket comes 5.5 minutes into the game. They started 0 of 6 from deep. They got the first. Now the crowd's alive again.
And Reigns Smith has some family here today, all the way from Australia. So he's ready, he's hyped, he's excited to play in front of his family from across the country, across the world.
Lanier trying to back him down. Meshack with 4 on the timer, puts it up. That one's way off. Last touch by Traore. Thought there was a bit of contact. Tennessee, though, will have it underneath the hoop.
You see right here, Meshack, he's been working on his jump shot. And not successful there, but yeah, off Traore and Tennessee ball. You love the hustle on both sides.
Lob it up, and there's another jam. It's Cade Phillips again. Ziegler, the veteran, found him.
He heard me, Kev. Cade Phillips, he heard me. You're not an offensive player. He just comes down and gets 2 buckets in a row.
If you're Louisville, how do you settle down here in the early goings?
Well, it's exciting. Obviously, the crowd, the whole week, the anticipation of this game, playing against a great Tennessee team. Just got to settle down, execute in the half court. And defensively, you want to be up on the ball, pressure. And there you see Noah Waterman knocking down. And Louisville is a perimeter-oriented team. Everybody on the team can shoot, including the bigs. Waterman showing you right there, knocking it down in the corner.
Gainey sets the feet, wants the three, and knocks it down. So Jordan Gainey, coming off the bench, the senior from Tucson, has improved his jumper in the offseason as well.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about Chaz Lanier, but another guy that has to help with the scoring load for this Tennessee team is Jordan Gainey, who is not just a shooter, but has improved his game getting to the basket as well.
It's a foul on Waterman. Ball back to Tennessee.
See the veteran Ziegler throwing it up to Phillips, and Phillips, I'm not just a defensive player. And then you see Jordan Gainey right there doing what he does best, knocking down the triple.
So Tennessee has forced 4 turnovers. It's also 6 of 9 from the floor to start. So they have been very effective. They've smothered the Cardinals on the defensive end the first 7-8 minutes of the game, too. Ziegler reads the defense. Akpara had deep position. Pryor snatches it away. This is Kason Pryor trying to go between the legs. The spin up with the left. Athletic move by Pryor.
And we were talking to Coach Kelsey yesterday about Kason Pryor, saying he's the best player on this Louisville basketball team, which is saying a lot with all the experience and all the 1,000-point scores that they have. Putting Okpara in the spin cycle right there, finishing with the left hand.
Coming off the bench, too, these first couple of games. Ziegler, yes. So Zakai Ziegler has Tennessee's second triple.
And Kev, you can't say enough about this guy, Zakai Ziegler. I mean, just a veteran, poise, leadership, the heart and soul of this Tennessee basketball team.
Yeah, now a 2-time all-conference selection. This is Smith. He can get to the rim a bit, draws the foul. And so free throws for Louisville when we return. So Tennessee attacking the rim. 10-point lead.
Get up and throw it down, Cade Phillips. And I can shoot it, but I'm going to put you in the spin cycle. Kason Pryor finishing with the left hand.
If you bought your Tennessee stock 7 years ago, that's dividends are paying off now. This program just quite simply continues to thrive. So let's go back to the start of that 2017 season. Tennessee's 6 NCAA tournament appearances, 171 wins. And the 31 wins against ranked team, all the most among SEC squads. You know, they're coming off of another SEC championship. You know, the standard and the expectation is at a very high level with this program right now. And it seems like they will continue to move in the upward trajectory.
Yeah, well, when you have a Hall of Fame coach like Rick Barnes at the helm, it doesn't surprise you the consistency that he brings everywhere, you know, being at Texas before now obviously at Tennessee. And coming into Louisville in this environment, this is nothing new for this Tennessee team, Kev. Playing against Auburn and Kentucky and, you know, those teams in the SEC. This is nothing new for this Tennessee team, and it goes to show you how they're starting the game in this first half. Defensively, they're locking in. Offensively, they're getting good opportunities, good shots at the rim.
They look poised to you?
Oh, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. This is a poised, you know, team led by Zakai Ziegler, obviously 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and the heart and soul of this team.
Trying to go reverse style on the baseline. Scott with the board, and Louisville coming back the other way. Traore floats it up. Meshack down with the board. So Louisville previously with a little backcourt pressure out of the timeout there. Tennessee had the 10-0 lead. They got the 8-point cushion approaching the halfway mark of this first half.
Yeah, and Kev, how can Louisville get themselves back in this game? It starts on the defensive side of the ball. Create offense with your defense.
Meshack's three is a bit strong. Gainey gives the Vols a new 20. Cameron Carr on the floor. It's number 43 in the far corner. His first minutes today. Ziegler, a couple of hezzies, picks up the dribble. Meshack's open in the corner. Yeah, there's another triple for Meshack.
And Kev, he's known as a defensive guy, but over this summer, from May to August, shot over 30,000 jump shots in the gym. It is paying dividends, seeing right there, knocking down the corner jump shot.
That's a lot of makes. Javon Hadley with the answer on the other side. Hadley, one of the 15 first-year transfers. 15 of a couple of those walk-ons. That is an astounding number. Pat Kelsey and the staff, they had to build from literally nothing, just about, when they arrived here. Carr guarded very closely that time by Hadley. So 6 to shoot.
Great job by Louisville keeping them so far away from the basket. It's so tough for an offense when you're playing starting your offense that far away from the basket. You see Akpara right there. He's worked on his offensive game, known as a shot blocker. But Coach Barnes said he has improved on the offensive side of the ball.
How about the presence now? He had just enough time there with the shot clock winding. Hepburn pulls it. And what's free on the baseline, and Carr snags it.
And you see what Tennessee is doing to this Louisville basketball team. They're up, they're in them. Every shot is rushed. Every shot at the rim is contested. Tennessee is doing a great job of making it hard for Louisville on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, they're +9 on the glass, by the way. Louisville with barely any second opportunities. So that foul sends Tennessee to the free throw line. It's the first on Abubakar Traore, and Akpara goes to the free throw line. As you mentioned, that offensive skill, it's beginning to develop. The junior from Nigeria spent the last couple of years at Ohio State. So here's our next featured hoops game on the men's side. Right here, the ACC Network. Florida visits the Seminoles, the in-state battle at 6 Eastern this Friday, and then American at North Carolina follows at 8 Eastern. And don't forget Duke in action against Wofford next Saturday at noon. UNC in a brilliant battle. They were in a brilliant battle yesterday against Kansas, had that late lead, nearly able to pull it off inside Allen Fieldhouse. Ultimately fell by 3. Pryor for 3, that time offline. And so Tennessee can now build on its 12-point advantage after the Akpara free throws. It's been a little bit of a sluggish shooting start for the Cardinals. They're 3 of 12 from deep, just 27% from the floor. They're trying to get their legs underneath them here in a very highly anticipated matchup, at least in this neck of the woods. A lot of hype around this game on campus, around the city. Ziegler attacks, high pass, and that was off of Phillips' hands. Louisville ball.
And Kev, I know it's easier said than done, but Louisville has to try to find a way to get 2 feet in the paint, collapse that Tennessee defense, and then be able to kick out and get more open opportunities. Right now, I think they're just settling for contested jump shots. You see Tennessee on the other end doing a good job of getting in the paint and creating easy shots for themselves.
Yeah, it's a great point. They've got probably a little bit of that physicality advantage inside. There's the switch. Pryor's got the shorter Ziegler on it. Drives, picks up the dribble, extra pass to Edwards, wants the triple. Phillips got a piece of it. He's running the floor. Up ahead to Phillips. Gathers, and he's got another basket. Phillips with 6. And so the sequence, the block on one end, and he's rewarded on the other side. Pat Kelsey needs to talk it over. Tennessee with its largest lead in this first half. They're up 14, 8:10 to go in the first. We'll take a quick timeout. We've seen this for several years now when it comes to Tennessee, the defense turning into offense on the other end.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to say, forget the X's and O's. Come in and compete and bring that energy, and that's what Phillips has been doing off the bench. On both ends of the floor, you see in the block, and then sprint down on the other end, converting for 2.
So Phillips has got 6, so does Lanier. And Louisville trying to find their footing here on that offensive side of the floor. You know, Cade Phillips, sophomore from Jacksonville, Arkansas, only played 13 games last year. He surpassed his point total from a season ago in a game and a half. He's obviously one of many Vols expected to take a step forward here in year 2. So that said, you know, the struggles for Louisville on the offensive side very much perpetuated, if you will, by just this relentless half-court defense from Tennessee. What have you noticed about it?
Yeah, well, you know what, and this is important for young basketball players to know. So many times players try to play outside of themselves. You see what Cade Phillips do when he's coming off the bench. He's playing his role. He's playing to his strength. He's bringing energy. He's bringing effort, and that's why he's having success. And that's why this Tennessee basketball team is having success, because they're playing and competing at a high level on both sides of the basketball.
Reigning SEC champs have the 14-point lead. Louisville looking for its first points here in a few minutes. Let's see if they can get something from Pryor. Had a good opener in that win against Morehead State. Offline there on the fall away. And it's a lot of one-and-done possessions for Louisville. Tennessee has owned the glass to this point.
And Kev, not only one and done, but every single shot is a hard shot for this Louisville basketball team, and you got to credit that Tennessee defense. They are just staggering.
A lot of contests. Lanier with the reverse. Just enough English there with the left hand, so showing his dexterity. And the first-year Vol from Nashville with 8 points. Edwards wide open triple. No. Waterman pulls it down. And so there's the first offensive board for Louisville. They could use a response here, down 16.
A big thing for Louisville right now, those shots are open shots. They're open looks. You don't want to second guess those. If you get an open look, you want to continue to take those.
Oh, Ziegler nearly took it away. 2.4 on the timer now for Louisville.
Yeah, you see Lanier, he's known as a three-point shooter, but I'm a straight line drive you and a little up and under with the left hand finish, and I'm a guy who can really respect that because I love going to that left hand when I played, Kev.
I was going to say in this building, but not so fast in the other place. Freedom Hall is where you did a whole lot of that back in the day.
Yeah, the historic Freedom Hall. But
yes.
I tell you what, the minute I walked into this Yum Center, I fell in love. This is a beautiful arena.
Oh, it's a pro-level space. Edwards with the offensive rebound. He's searching, though. Hadley fires. Now, Louisville just 3 of 16 from deep. There's a foul, though, on the loose ball. That's the 6th team foul on Tennessee. Second on Okpara. So both of Tennessee's starting bigs have picked up 2 fouls in this first half. That means J.P. Estrella will come back on for Okpara. Boy, what a physical presence that Tennessee picked up and acquired there in the portal. Smith, he's got a quick trigger. One of the better three-point shooters in the CAA a year ago. Look at Phillips hustling again. He's able to just keep his feet on the baseline.
I'm just so impressed with Phillips just coming into the game, and you see him get extended minutes just from his effort and his energy that he's bringing, sprinting the floor from rim to rim, just create mismatch, running the floor.
Edwards had his man of the year. The leader, Kevin, and the foul. Terrence Edwards with his first bucket.
Yeah, tough finish right there by Edwards. You see the up fake getting him up in the air. Great kick out, up fake getting him up in the air, off a 2-feet float. The and one finish, and you see Edwards is a guy coming from James Madison, who was a player of the year at James Madison. He's more than capable. This Louisville team has 4,000-point scorers, and they have more than capable offensive talent, but they have to be able to lock down on this side, on the defensive side of the ball, and try to turn that defense into offense.
I know you like to write down your notes. Did you do all that math by hand? With this team, if you won't count out the production, you need a calculator. They've got a lot of experience they signed out of the portal. Edwards, that breakout season at James Madison, like you mentioned. Lanier between the legs. Oh, and he buries it right in Smith's face. And so a nice move. Lanier showing you the full range of abilities, it appears, in this first half.
You know what? It's big shoes to fill, you know, for Dalton Connect when you have those expectations. But Chaz Lanier is not shying away from any of that.
That's a nice physical drive from Hepburn. We're coming back the other way. 5.5 to go in the first. Tennessee has been in control. Lanier, not that time. And Chucky Hepburn, the battle-tested guard from the Big Ten. Looking to push. Corin Johnson, no.
And I think for Louisville, Corin Johnson is another guy that they need to get going. He's a capable scorer. He's a 6-man player of the year for Washington last year. He's a guy who can score on all 3 levels.
Ziegler all of a sudden Everything opens up. He takes it away. Pryor blocks it. And look at Zakai Ziegler right on the baseline wreaking havoc. He's stuck with it. And Tennessee's got a chance to pull ahead by maybe as many as 20. Estrella and the foul. It's a 20-point cushion for the reigning SEC champs in the first half, and Estrella's going to the line.
And if that doesn't tell you right there, Zakai Ziegler doing a great job probing. Estrella right on the rim. And right now, Tennessee is just imposing their will inside. And we wondered with Louisville, a more perimeter-oriented team, were they going to struggle, with this inside presence of Tennessee? And right now they are.
So Tennessee, it loses 4 starters. You see there, including the Player of the Year, Dalton Knecht, an All-American who got his first start with the Lakers a few days ago. Rick Barnes made his way to Memphis to take that one in. They lose a lot, so you start to ask those questions in the offseason. How do you replace all of that production from, an Elite 8 team a year ago? They add a few impact transfers, but as you pointed out, it's been guys like Estrella, Phillips, Gainey, their second years of the program. How big of a step do they take this year off the bench?
Yeah, well, I don't think you can expect one guy to do that. That's a lot of pressure for one guy to fill. I think they have to do it as a group. We talked about Jordan Gainey being a guy who could pick up the score, and obviously Chaz Lanier. You have Ziegler who's going to pick up his scoring, but guys like Cade Phillips and Estrella just getting those fast transition buckets, getting those garbage buckets off the offensive rebounds. That's how you're going to do it. You're going to do it as a collective group.
Estrella, that is a deep post catch. Could not bank it off the window. New 20. And so Ziegler initiates his stuff. They were looking for Estrella. Hepburn on the floor, and he calls the timeout. So excellent effort that time by the veteran point guard. Tennessee on a 7-0 run. They have opened this thing up. It's a 20-point lead.
Chaz Lanier, 3 up and 3 down. You see Ziegler doing what he does best, getting into the lane. Toughness.
I really want to thank our veterans for what they've done throughout our entire lifetime and for this country through the ages. And we wouldn't be where we are today with the greatest country in the world without the veterans and what they do to sacrifice for our country.
We want to take a moment with Veterans Day coming up here in a couple of days to honor those who have served our nation. In particular, Nolan Jewell, honored a few moments ago, U.S. Army World War II veteran, turning 100 a month ago, received quite a stirring ovation from this crowd. We thank him and everybody who protects our freedom.
Yeah, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. My grandpa was a World War II veteran. So we're just thankful for all the veterans and all their dedication to our country.
With Eric Devendorf, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. Tennessee by 20. They have shot the ball efficiently. They have defended ferociously, and they have owned the glass at this point, so they have the sizable lead. Louisville looking to close the half on good footing. Pryor from distance.
Kev, it's pretty simple right now. They're owning the paint. They're owning the boards. Every single shot that Louisville take is being contested. That's a recipe to win a basketball game.
Hepburn, another block. Ziegler got a piece of it on the run out, lays it up and in. And so there is the latest example of just that pressure tight defense. So Tennessee has now blocked 3 shots, 4 steals. Traore now with the strong drive. Extra pass to Waterman. He's got an open look. Count it. And the foul. He's got some words for Jemai Meshack after the 3. He's going to the line for one more.
Well, I don't think you see right here Louisville with the great ball movement, which leads to an open shot. Waterman knocking down his second three. I don't know if you would really have a lot to say being down that much, but get yourself going, get your team going, try to figure out where we can get this energy from, and I like it. I'm not saying you have to talk a whole lot, but I like it right now. You got to find a way to pick yourself up and pick your team up.
He must have taken exception. You saw it on the replay there, maybe a little bit of a hip bump, if you will. And so if you're Louisville, it's got to find a way to get some momentum going here before the break. There's the prolific Lanier. He scored 11 in this first half. That leads everybody. Lob it up. That's knocked away. Good read that time by Scott, who's back on the floor with the 2 fouls. Pat Kelsey going back to his trusted sophomore. Waterman trying to create some space. Hepburn puts it up. Backside rebound to Hadley, so a new 20. Traore hesitated. Waterman hoists. One more look for Louisville. Scott lost it, though, out of bounds into Tennessee's bench with 2:17 to go.
You know, everything is a struggle right now. You see Louisville 4-22 from the three-point line. Tennessee is just making everything tough. 2 guys at Louisville has to try to get involved. Hepburn and Hadley, 2 guys who are more than capable, but they have to find their rhythm in this offense. But again, it starts on this side of the ball. Pressure the ball, try to get some deflections, try to get some turnovers, and get out and get some easy, quick looks.
Lanier working the baseline. Okay, Louisville basketball.
And there you go.
Pat Kelsey's Cardinals with an opening week test. As you mentioned, you've got this rugged defensive team that comes into your building. It's a great way to prepare yourself for, they've got a very difficult out-of-conference schedule. First ACC game against Duke in a month. It's a little bit of a welcome to the ACC moment, perhaps, for Kelsey and the staff. But they're dealing with this really tight half-court defense from Tennessee today. 4 to shoot. Late shot clock offense. Lanier on Traore. Floats it up high off the glass. Rebound to Scott. That one never touched the rim. And so it should be a shot clock violation. It is.
How many times have we seen this Louisville basketball team have to create a shot with 5 seconds or less on the shot clock? I mean, that just goes to Tennessee's defense. Rick Barnes, this is nothing new for him.
Yeah.
Coming into this type of environment, he knew he was going to have this Tennessee team ready. And it starts at the point guard position. Ziegler, he's so calm, he's so composed, he's under control. Super impressed. My first time seeing this guy play in person, and I am more than impressed at Ziegler.
Yeah, he is a tone setter as it pertains to that. Knowing the standard on both ends of the floor for a lot of these newcomers. He's trying to cash in on his first triple from deep. A minute to go. Louisville on this side of the floor trying to just chip away at this large deficit. Waterman for 3.
Who's going to be the guy to get him going? It could be anybody right now, but Waterman is the guy who decided to step up. You've seen him hitting his third 3, and Hepburn
got it, and the foul. This is the surge Louisville needed.
Yeah. How do you make it happen on the defensive side of the ball? You see Hepburn with the finish in the and one coming from Wisconsin. He was known as a defensive guy, all Big Ten defensive player, and he's obviously bringing that to Louisville with the steal and with the finish on the other end.
That is a well-timed 9-0 run. Make it a 10-0 run. 12-point game. Just ahead of halftime.
A little bit of full court pressure right here, getting the crowd involved to it, Kev. I want to go out there and play.
Louisville tightening up on this side. Gainey with 3 in the paint, got it.
Tough. Well, a great individual defense by Louisville, but better offense from Jordan Gainey.
And so you got 4 seconds here for Hepburn to the corner. 1 second, Edwards offline. Tennessee takes the 14-point lead into the break. A late 9-0 Louisville run makes that score look a little cleaner than it was before. I mean, it was Tennessee leading by double digits for much of that first half. Lanier led the way for the Vols. Waterman with 10. Charged up environment, but Tennessee's got the 14-point lead at the break. AFC Yum Center in downtown Louisville. First high-level test for both of these programs. Tennessee led by as many as 20 in that first half. They get the 14-point lead as we begin the second half. It's Eric Devendorf, former Syracuse star, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So Tennessee has built the reputation over the last few years as being this tenacious, ferocious, defensive-oriented team. What did you notice in that first half?
Well, Tennessee is making everything tough for Louisville. They're making them play in the half court. That's something that Louisville doesn't want to do every single play now. They want to get up. They want to play up tempo. And you see Tennessee contesting every single shot. They're getting deflections, and then they're creating offense with their defense. Tennessee is just doing a great job right now of imposing their will on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, even from the mental standpoint as well, you talked about the poise of this Tennessee team, and I think there's a good bit of that on display right out of the gate. This was a really charged up environment, and Tennessee took the early lead, led 10-zip at one point, and they have pretty much led by double digits for the majority of this first half. Here's the good news for Louisville as you look at some of their shooting struggles. They did end that first on a 10-2 run. So they flipped a 22-point deficit to a 14-point game. And so now you can maybe hit the refresh, hit the reset here to start the second half. Tennessee on this side of the floor with it. And so Jermaine Mashack may create with 4 to shoot. There's a turnover, and you know Tennessee did turn it over 12 times, a lot of those self-inflicted wounds. And so now Louisville looking to cash in after the giveaway.
Yeah, the good thing for Tennessee is a lot of those turnovers didn't translate into points for Louisville on the other side of the ball. But I think these first 5 minutes of this second half are super important for Louisville.
Edwards has it. Can he get going? Made the 1 basket in the first half after a pretty impressive opener. Cason Pryor, 1 of 8 from the floor in the first half, has a different defensive assignment now, finds Edwards in the corner. Scott got his hands on it, and so it gives Louisville an extended possession. The staff is really high on this sophomore Scott. He's got great IQ, instincts around the basket. Louisville trying to make it a useful second look. 4 to shoot. And again, late shot clock offense once again. Edwards leans in, way off. And so that's a shot clock violation.
It's just hard to play basketball like that. Every single time you're going against the shot clock. You're already going against the Tennessee defense, who's one of the best defenses in the country. But now to be able to have to play against that and then go with 5 seconds on the shot clock every single time, Tennessee is doing a great job of just making it difficult every single possession for Louisville.
It's an interesting point you brought up this week. You were at Syracuse, you were a high-level scorer. You had a guy like Johnny Flynn to give the ball to as well, future pro. And so Louisville trying to answer that question. Who could be the guy to bail him out, get him a basket when they need it? It's the first week of the season. We'll find out in due time. Chaz Lanier cashes in once again from deep, and now he's got 14 points to lead everybody.
Tell you what, Kev, you're not going to forget about Dalton Connect, but Chaz Lanier is trying to do his best job of saying, hey, I'm here. The scoring load, you can put it on my shoulders.
Speaking of other pros, next level athletes, Hepburn contested fall away. That's over the backboard.
Chaz Lanier, I mean, the transfer from North Florida, he has just been doing an incredible job of scoring the basketball. We talked about picking up for the absent adult connect. Chaz Lanier has been answering the call today at Louisville.
Well, because again, Tennessee had to answer the question, how do you replace the All-American 22 points per game and connect who could score in such a variety of different ways? Lanier, one of the more intriguing players out of the portal. There's a little YMCA move there. Couldn't get the one-handed runner to go. Pryor cut off by Lanier. Pryor off balance, earns himself a well-earned trip to the free throw line. And so Lanier and Meshack have done a fine job defending Pryor. He's a good scorer off the bench.
And the line for the Cards, number 7, Cason Pryor.
For Louisville, it was a complete reset this offseason. Again, coaching staff change, a total roster change, and you know, the upside, at least externally, according to the folks that vote on the preseason top 18, if you will, there they are, projected to finish in the top half of the ACC. They're slotted 9th in that preseason poll.
Yeah, well, you see the first two up there, Duke and UNC. Those are some familiar names. They're always going to be at the top of the conference. But I think this Louisville team, especially with Coach Kelsey coming in and just giving a different type of energy, they're my sleeper for this ACC conference. And despite how they're playing right now, I think they're going to continue to come together, continue to build, and this will be a team to reckon with as you go forward in the college basketball season.
I think that's a fair sleeper. That's a reasonable pick, if you will, to look at Louisville with a lot of the experience that it brought in out of the transfer portal. Milicic, 4-3. He can stretch it a little bit.
And I had a game last year when he was at Charlotte at Tulsa. He's a do-it-all type of forward. He's a guy who really has a high-level skill set, and you see right there showing his shooting ability. Yeah, Milicic, he's a guy who's a high IQ, he's a high-skilled guy, he's a kind of do-it-all forward. And Tennessee really needs him to be an impactful player on the offensive side of the ball, but also rebounding the basketball on both ends of the floor.
That foul, by the way, was on Ziegler a moment ago. Well, he only played, what, 5 minutes in that first half after he picked up 2 quick fouls. So we didn't see much of him in the opening period. Edwards, aggressive drive, off the glass and in. There's Terrence Edwards Jr., the 5th-year senior from Atlanta.
And Kev, who will be that guy? There always has to be a guy that you go to give the ball when there's nothing going on. Will it be Edwards?
Well, there's the 3rd foul on Milicic. Illegal screen gives the ball back to the Cardinals. Thinking that's the first on Gady, pardon me.
I don't know. I didn't really see any movement right there. I mean, it looks like he was just standing still, but hey, we got a great crew, so I'm not going to say too much.
Well, and my mistake, they whistled Gainey for that one, not
Gainey,
Milicic.
okay.
And so it did look like Gainey, there was some contact there between he and
yeah, you just have to be able to set that guy coming off the screen. Tough call right there for Gainey.
Louisville hasn't beaten a ranked team in 3.5 years. Pryor trying to jam it down. Cason Pryor, the very dynamic stretch big, is headed back to the free throw line.
If you're going to go strong, that's the way to do it right there. Louisville. Yeah, right there. If you're going strong, Cason Pryor attacking the rim aggressively. And if you're going to go to the rim, that's how you're going to go. But they really need to count on Pryor, but Meshack has been doing an unbelievable job of guarding the ball. You see him on you see him on guarding Pryor, then you see him switching to the guards. I mean, it just goes to show you the versatility that this Tennessee Volunteer has on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, what do you make of that, by the way? Meshack, I mean, he has been there, just dependable lockdown defender for years, getting that Pryor assignment.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just a strategic Hall of Fame coach Rick Barnes telling you, hey, this is your assignment. And obviously with the grown man body that Meshack has, he can withstand the physicality, and he's just been doing a great job of being a lockdown defender. here today for Tennessee.
Pryor, all-conference at South Florida last year. Went to high school at Michigan. And he said yesterday, Pat Kelsey finally got me. He tried to recruit me to Winthrop a few years ago. Decided to come play for him here for my final year of college hoops. 14-point game, early second.
See the movement by Tennessee. They never stop moving. They're playing off the ball. They're poised. They're calm.
Ziegler had it poked away. It's a reach-in on Edwards. He doesn't like it. Tennessee has it when we return. 14-point game early in the second in Louisville. Tennessee by 14 today. Second half in Louisville, deep in the heart of ACC country, if you will. Used to be a Big East country back in the day, and the man sitting next to me knows all about that. 1,000-point scorer at Syracuse, one of the higher scoring guards in program history. You had some battles with this program. Now, a couple of times it was over in the old place there, Freedom Hall, but also at Madison Square Garden. It's good to be next to you today, my friend. I mean, they were so cordial and friendly to you in this city back in the day, yeah?
You know what? I loved it. I loved coming into this type of environment.
Yeah.
I was ready for the trash talk because that's what got me going. I was waiting, for somebody to say something first so I could just go off for the rest of the game. And I mean, it's so fun to be in this type of environment. Louisville really brought it today.
You know, and even despite the struggles today, again, they fell behind 10-zip. They've been down by double-digit much of the game. We know all about this fan base. You just reference it right there. They have been ready to ignite, really, at any moment, at the slightest glimpse of a potential run for Louisville. And that is why Pat Kelsey and the staff, they believe that they will reinvigorate this program and elevate it back to the upper echelon of first things first, the ACC. But, you know, they want to be back among the nation's best, where they were for so many years, at so many points during the program's history. 10 trips to the Final Four. And I would have, like, you must have felt that, yeah, when you entered this space, Freedom Hall back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, anytime you have a rich history of basketball success, I mean, you're going to go into this type of environment. And despite, you know, how they're playing this afternoon, I think Louisville basketball program is on the up and up with Coach Pat Kelsey coming in here, bringing that energy, intensity, and we saw yesterday the attention to detail that he has. Louisville is definitely on the up.
So Ziegler cashes in on a free throw after that foul. He's got 8 points, 5 assists. He's led the league in steals the last 2 years. Rain for three. Smith left it short, you know, and if he could hit a couple here in this second half, that would be quite impactful. That pass way too far for Milicic. Tennessee, you know, they've been a little careless at times with the ball. 14 turnovers now. Aggressive, though, trying to push.
Yeah, again, you don't want to be sloppy and turn over the ball. Coach Barnes is obviously telling them that in the huddle, but Louisville hasn't been able to take advantage of those turnovers on the other end. I was shooting 24% from the field. The story of this game is the Tennessee defense.
It has been tenacious on this side. Meshack is all over Pryor again. Lanier might have been out of bounds. And if he had possession there, that should reset the shot clock back to 20, or rather 30. Yeah, there's the defensive numbers for Tennessee last season.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Not only are they one of the better defensive teams in the SEC, but in my opinion, one of the better defensive teams in the country. And it all starts with Ziegler, the head of the snake, putting pressure on the ball, and then obviously Meshack, a guy who could just guard 1 through 5 every single position. You see him, you know, taking Pryor right now, but this Tennessee basketball team prides themselves on the defensive side of the ball, and you can see it today.
Okay, take 3 now on the end line. couple of deflections. By the way, the shot clock did reset back to 20 for Louisville. Johnson triggering. Yeah, everything difficult on this end of the floor today.
I mean, even on the out of bounds, they're making it tough to even get the ball in.
And Louisville now shooting 23% from the field today. That's a foul on Gainey.
Fouls on Tennessee's number 11, Jordan Gainey.
Yeah, I mean, everything really has been going Tennessee's way, but one thing that, Coach Rick Barnes is going to preach to his team is taking care of the basketball, because if you continue to play like this going forward in the season, teams are going to take advantage of those turnovers, no question about it.
Hepburn down the alley, gave it away. Didn't have a plan there when he left his feet. Gainey charges, draws the foul. So Jordan Gainey heads to the free throw line, and they whistle Smith for the foul. So did he get it cleanly? Body contact for sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a questionable call, but you got to give the advantage to Gainey. He's just going full with a head of steam and just attacking the basket aggressively, and a lot of times the refs are going to reward you for playing aggressive at the rim. So on the ground, huh?
Pat Kelsey's going to bring Edwards back onto the floor. Traore takes a seat. Both coaches with some objections the last couple of moments here. Oh, Gainey lets it fly. And then there's a loose ball foul on Tennessee. That's the third on Lanier.
Yeah, you see Louisville, I mean, obviously they're not shooting well from the three-point line. Down what was it, 47-32. I mean, you got to try to get some open looks. You got to be able to knock down some three-point shots. It's getting later in the game, and speaking of it right there,
straight on 3 for Rain Smith.
I don't know if they can hear me out there or not, but Rain Smith doing what he does right there, knocking it down, and then Chucky Hepburn on the other. That's what you need right there. You need to start to string those type of possessions together.
Timeout Tennessee. Louisville back within 12.
And the Rain Man knocking it down, giving Louisville a little bit of energy.
A couple of football games later today right here on the ACC Network. So when we are done here, the ACC Huddle crew is going to get you set for all that action coming up later today. Taylor Tannenbaum, E.J. Manuel, Eric McLean, Eddie Royal, Mark Rick, the usual suspects. There they are at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. It's Pitt and Virginia tonight. That's our primetime matchup on the ACC Network. So, Eric, Louisville trailed by as many as 22 in the first half. They're back within 12 now. They are attempting to capitalize on a little ragged sequence here from Tennessee. Rick Barnes just said call a timeout. So this team has gotten a little cold over the last few minutes.
Yeah, it's good you have a guy, Ziegler, at the point guard who's going to calm his team down and get them into their sets. But Louisville just has to do a better job of taking advantage of those turnovers that they're creating.
Louisville has struggled on this end of the floor. 25% shooting. Rain Smith from distance knocks down another, his second, in the last couple of minutes.
Hello. Talking a little bit, too. I like that. He knows his family's in the crowd watching, knocking down his second straight three. The Rain Man.
Louisville back within single digits for the first time since the midway mark of the first. Lanier attacks, picks up the dribble, got to kick it out to Meshack. One on the timer, a deep hoist. Ziegler! Oh, from Market Street.
And just a backbreaker. Great job at Louisville defensively, but the veteran leader stepping up, knocking it down.
Hepburn can't answer. Ziegler, no numbers, so he decides to turn it back. With one on the timer, that was a very good defensive sequence for Louisville. Hepburn with a cherry pick, just picks Ziegler's pocket that time. And so now Louisville can get it back to single digits, perhaps with a three. There's Javon Hadley. Came over from Colorado. Hadley has to kick it out. Smith from deep. Akpara with the board.
Yeah, probably not the best shot that Louisville wanted right there, but man, is he a quick trigger.
And he will let him go. He's hit 3 triples, but Zakai Ziegler, the hero shot from 30 feet. Tennessee back ahead by 12 in Louisville. Tennessee, you see that number next to the name after winning the SEC last year and making a run to the Elite Eight. They're a top 15 team of the preseason, expected near the top of the SEC, you would think. Now, the big reason why is their general, Zakai Ziegler, back for his final season on Rocky Top. He is someone who plays with incredible drive and resolve. Last year's Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. Coming out of high school, he had 2 offers, a couple of mid-majors on the East Coast. Tennessee decided to take a chance on him, and he has turned himself from a under-recruited 3-star into this fan favorite. Today, he was trying to tighten things up for Tennessee as it's looking to come into Louisville and pick up a road victory week 1 of the college basketball season. New 20 for the Vols after Cade Phillips' offensive rebound.
Yeah, well, the good thing for Tennessee is Ziegler, he's a veteran, he's poised, and he's not going to let those 10 turnovers determine the rest of the game, how he plays. He's going to continue to be aggressive and continue to look for opportunities at the basket. But right now he has the type of double-double that you probably don't want as a player. But again, he's going to continue to be aggressive. He's going to continue to look for himself and his teammates.
This one looks like it was still on the cylinder. Yeah, it was actually on the rim, and so they wiped that basket off. Is that going to fall through? It looked like that one might have rolled off the rim anyway, so Akpara was trying to sneak one in. Louisville hasn't scored in 2 minutes. 17 turnovers for Tennessee. That is an absurd number. Hadley couldn't hit from deep, and Akpara clears it.
Strong rebound right there.
And yet, even despite that, they still have a double-figure advantage. Lanier pulls it, knocks down a triple. Chaz Lanier now has cashed in 3 times from deep.
Yeah, despite the 17 turnovers, or no, 18 turnovers for Tennessee, they're forcing Louisville 25% from the field, 11 for 44, and that's not a good recipe to win a basketball game. But Louisville's still in it. You know, they're still fighting, and this crowd is still in it. They still have opportunities to get back into this basketball game.
They just really have not been able to go on any sort of run. They've been down double digits since the early minutes of the game. Lanier, boy, it bounced right to him, and the lead is swelled back to 17. 19-point afternoon for Lanier.
And Kev, we talked to Rick Barnes before the game. He talked about how calm and, you know, collected that Chaz Lanier is. You can see it in this game. He's not rushed. He's navigating the pick and roll. He's getting into the middle, and he's doing a great job of just creating plays for himself.
Smith's basket gets it back to a 15-point game. A timeout here in Louisville. Following up his 18-point performance of the opener Monday with 19 here in a hostile environment in Louisville.
Yeah, if you go under the screen against Chaz Lanier, he is going to make you pay, and then he's doing a good job on the offensive glass, putting it right back in. He's a guy who has stayed calm throughout this basketball game, and he is picking up the scoring slack for the absence of Dalton Connect.
One graduate transfer moves on to the next level. Lanier, who broke out last year at North Florida, all-conference season, scored 20 a game in his final year down in Jacksonville. Has scored in a variety of ways today. Milicic puts it on the deck. Akpara scores it, and the foul. And so Felix Akpara is going to the free throw line, and Tennessee's advantage grows back to 17 after Louisville had whittled it back to a 9-point deficit a few minutes ago.
Yeah, you see right here, just being active on the offensive glass, and that's what Akpara does. He's obviously a nation's top shot blocker, but Tennessee needs him to be active on both ends of the floor, and there you see right there.
Remember, it's a Louisville team that had to hit the reset button, an entirely new roster. Pryor loses this one out of bounds, and look who's there flexing on him after that sequence. Jemai Meshack has made life miserable for a very talented scorer and player in Pryor today.
And I tell you what, if you're picking an MVP for this Tennessee basketball team, I'm looking at Meshack. Obviously, you see Chaz Lanier in the scoring department, but I mean, he's a guy who has been all over the floor defensively, and with an improved jump shot, Meshack has been playing outstanding this afternoon for Tennessee.
Someone who has taken immense pride in that role and that assignment over the last couple of years. Meshack, he wants to be known as the dirty, gritty, lockdown defender. It's part of his identity, this senior now from Fontana, California. And oh, by the way, he's got a jump shot now in the offseason, so the staff challenged him to make 30,000 shots. Milicic with the latest basket. Look, you make 30,000 shots. Can we get him a bigger cake, by the way?
Yeah, you know what? That was a toddler cake right there. That man has a grown man body. Get that man a grown man cake. But, shout out to the Tennessee coaching staff for, helping Meshack put in the work over the summer. I mean, 30,000 shots over that time period is a lot of shots. And you see him right now, obviously defensive-minded, but an improved jump shooter, and that's just going to help this Tennessee basketball team.
Former sixth man, now turned starter in his final season. It's a 12-2 run for Tennessee. I want to go back a few minutes ago, Eric. Tennessee went through about a 3-4 minute stretch where they struggled really on both ends of the floor. I don't think Louisville fully took advantage of that. That was their chance to really shrink the deficit and get this place rocking. Hepburn for 3. They still got 8:40 to go, and that 3 will help.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about it the whole game, Kev. Tennessee turning the ball over, but Louisville not taking advantage of those turnovers. And again, we know Rick Barnes is in the huddle telling his Tennessee basketball team to take care of the basketball. There you see Ziegler knocking it down.
And so Ziegler now with 14. Tennessee very efficient from deep today, 9 out of 15. Meanwhile, for Louisville, they've taken 32 triples. They've missed most of them. They're just 25% from downtown. Ziegler had a lot of time to line this one up.
Yeah, you see Ziegler knocking it down. And this goes to show you, for the kids at home, he has 10 turnovers, but he's not letting that affect his overall game. I mean, shout out to Zakai Ziegler for just continuing to play hard, continuing to compete, not letting those 10 turnovers affect his overall play.
Long Island native, he's got a resolve and courage about him that few possess. Hepburn trying to go up with the left hand. He was feeling Akpara on his backside there. And stays here, and a new 20 for the Cardinals. They're down 19 with 8:02 to go in this second.
Yeah, Louisville has to find a way to get some opportunities at the basket and be able to get 2 feet in the paint, kick it out, get some open threes, but
that won't help.
Yeah, defensively they have to start getting some stops and then creating it on the other end and getting some quick buckets. I mean, Tennessee has done a great job with taking them out of how they want to play. We talked to Pat Kelsey. Their game is getting up and down, up-tempo play, and Tennessee is forcing them to play in the half court almost every single possession down the floor, only 2 fast break points.
Ziegler connects again. On a night where, afternoon I should say, where he hasn't been his sharpest, he has still played some great basketball, and he has now chipped in 17. 4 of 6 from deep is Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah, Ziegler seeing the space and knocking it down.
Oh, Tennessee and Louisville inside KFC Yum Center today. I'd like to speak with the fashion advisors. There's some of our fans here in the building. You gotta love it. There's the Joker, who's always here inside the Yum Center. And then listen, put those L's up. It's been a game today that was highly anticipated around this neck of the woods, around the Louisville campus. A lot of hype surrounding it with a ranked program coming in. Nevertheless, the reigning SEC champs here have been in command for much of, if not all of today. They've got the 22-point advantage. We've had a great atmosphere in here at times, and if you're Louisville, you got 7:33 to somehow trying to pull yourself back into this game. Gainey right on the baseline there. Basically makes that catch like a receiver trying to stay in bounds. And then he finds his teammate. And so, boy, that crushes a little momentum out of the timeout for the Cardinals. Tennessee by 22.
Yeah, and if you're Tennessee, you don't need to rush anything. Get in your set, execute, get the best shot.
Gainey, that triple is down and out. It was tipped up, almost rolled back in. Okpara stuck with it, and Felix Okpara has given Tennessee its largest lead. It's a 24-point cushion with 7 to go.
Yeah, and that's the story of the game. Just the activity around the basket defensively. These guys are locked in.
There's one thing that you had spotlighted this week as we were getting ready for this one. Tennessee's physicality. Oh, Ziegler, just a clear path to the lane. Gets by Hepburn and no help comes. And now they're just pouring it on at this point. Ziegler with 19. And that's definitely going to draw a timeout from Pat Kelsey. Tennessee has just broken it open deep in the second half. Kelsey not happy. Remember, we head to the gridiron later today. Duke, NC State at 3:30 Eastern. That's right here on the ACC Network. And then our primetime matchup features Virginia and Pittsburgh. Kickoff time at 8 Eastern. And Pitt, there you go to see number 18 ranking for the Panthers there. They are trying to stay in the ACC title race. Well, here's the latest bucket for Tennessee, and Zakai Ziegler. Boy, that's about the easiest basket I think he's had tonight.
Yeah, at this point of the game, you have to get it back on the defensive side of the ball, and you see right there, he's just walking to the basket and with the easy layup. That's something that obviously Coach Pat Kelsey does not want to see.
You know, let's zoom in right here on this. It's a 9-turnover first half for the all-conference general, Zakai Ziegler, and then look at the flip. You don't often see 9-turnover first half. He's got a resolve that I know that's impressed you.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of guards, you know, even after 4 or 5 turnovers, just shut down, and their aggressiveness is no more in the game. And Zakai Ziegler, he's just showing the confidence that he has. He's the heart of a lion, you know, continuing to be aggressive, continuing to look for himself and his teammates. And just goes to show you what type of player he is, but what type of person he is. You know, continue to play through all those mistakes.
And then, so it's a 12-point and just 1 turnover second half. So that is a major flip. How about the freshman from D.C., Kenai Roots off the bench, just hit that triple a moment ago. So he gets some action for the first time today, pulls the trigger and converts. Corin Johnson with the latest bucket. Tennessee has held Louisville to just 28% shooting from the field. They've taken a lot of threes, haven't hit too many of those. Meshack gets rejected. That was James Scott. Cardinals back on the move. And the Vols have also dominated the glass. They're plus 18 on the boards today. Smith pulls another from the other wing. That's good.
And Ray Smith is a great shooter, but just a little detail that I see on the shot. He was short a few times, and you see him go up. Sometimes it's like his shoulders are going back a little bit, so I don't know if it's affecting the shot being short or what, but not taking anything away from Ray, just the observation that I've seen a few times on the shot.
Well, he's 4 of 11 from deep. That's a very quick 8-0 Louisville run. Last touch by Louisville, so Tennessee has it here with 8 seconds on the timer.
Number 5, Edwards back in for the call.
Yeah, they're going to have a few more of these from Ray and Smith if they want to get back in this basketball game. But again, everything starts on the defensive side of the ball. They need to ramp up the pressure, ramp up the intensity, and turn that defense into offense.
Smith, the senior, like you said, from Australia, he'll pull it. He's got the neon green light from deep. 1 on the timer. Ziegler, is he going to do this again? The triple was very close. Louisville on an 8-0 run. Still a significant deficit here. However, it's got a little bounce now.
And now Louisville, I know they like to play fast, but now they really have to play fast. And you see Ziegler right there.
Ziegler taking it away from the rookie. Gainey goes up, draws the foul. So Ziegler reading the spin. That's his 3rd steal.
And every time you think Louisville gets some momentum going, Tennessee comes back. You see Ziegler right there with the steal and the drop to Gainey, who draws the foul. I mean, Tennessee, they're answering the call every single time Louisville comes back. They're coming back right at you.
Again, it's the reigning defensive player of the year. 3 steals today. You've just referenced this word several times. Again, there have been several occasions where Tennessee has looked a little ragged at times and just undisciplined. However, poise. We kind of keep coming back to that word you used earlier. They can really snap back and display the poise when they need to.
Yeah, and it starts with Rick Barnes. Obviously, he's been in every situation college basketball has to offer, right? But you go to Ziegler. He's the extension of the head coach on the floor, and Coach Rick Barnes puts his ultimate trust in him, and you can see why today.
Edwards launches. And so Tennessee has it when we return. 3:57 to go. And the Vols 4 minutes away from starting 2-0 and picking up a road win here in Louisville.
Standing game offensively for Chaz Lanier. See him get into his mid-range, get into his spots, under control, shooting up and over the defense. And then you see him, stepping back, knocking down the 3-point. Chaz Lanier picking up the slack for what we've been talking about a lot in the absence of Dalton Connect. Chaz Lanier looks to play that role this whole season for Tennessee. Outstanding on the offensive side of the floor today.
I like the description you used there, just under control today. And you see he's hit 3 triples. Zakai Ziegler, his backcourt mate there, the veteran at Tennessee, with 4 triples today. He's also got the 6 assists. Lanier's ascension is just another interesting one. It's one that Vols fans it would resonate with. Dalton Connect going from junior college to first-round draft pick of the Lakers. Lanier, he's a role player his first couple of years at North Florida. Stays committed, works hard, broke out last year, and earns himself an opportunity to play at this level for a prestigious program like Tennessee. Meshack nearly with his 3rd steal. 3:31 to go.
And Kev, that's why I like these early competitive games in the season. You see where you're at as a team, but also you see where you're at as a player. And I think a game like this for Chaz Lanier, it just puts his confidence through the roof, knowing that, hey, I can come in against a highly sought team in Louisville with Pat Kelsey coming in here in a tough environment and play very well. Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler, they're going to be a force to reckon with in the SEC. That's going to be one of the top backcourts in the conference.
And then then you throw in the defensive stalwart that is Jemai Meshack. You know, what sort of a step forward can Jordan Gainey take when he's coming off the bench? What sort of a scoring bump will he give the Vols this year? That'll be critical. But Tennessee, the path only gets a little more rugged, if you will. They've got a couple of home games. Then they go down to the Bahamas to play Virginia, and then either St. John's or Baylor. They've got Syracuse at home in the challenge game. They'll play Miami and New York, and then they go to Illinois, which will be another heated environment. That's next month.
Yeah, Rick Barnes isn't afraid of competition, and we all know, and the top coaches know, to be the best, you have to play the best, and that's what Tennessee wants to do. They want to see where they're at. And,
Barrow with a two-hand stuff.
And you talked about, the backcourt, Ziegler and Lanier, but all these other guys just coming in and playing their roles with Meshack and Akpara, Jordan Gainey, a guy who's going to give you a spark in the scoring department. That's what makes a great basketball team. And there he is.
Boy, he has just smothered several Cardinals on that end of the floor. And from the Louisville standpoint, again, Devo, let's just continue to underscore it. This program hitting the total reset button. They brought back one player. He scored 12 points last year. It was a walk-on. So 15 first-year transfers, one rookie. And here is the track coming up for the Cards. Pat Kelsey will play his former club Winthrop in a couple of days here. They will also be down on Paradise Island. They'll play Indiana to start their battle for Atlantis track. They could see Gonzaga. They could see Oklahoma, Providence, Arizona, a whole bevy of teams. And how about December 8th there? Yeah, welcome to the ACC. Here's the league favorites coming at you.
It's not going to get any easier for Louisville, but, Coach Pat Kelsey, he wants that. Today, look, they just ran into a Tennessee team who was ready, who was prepared, and they just dominated Louisville on the defensive side of the ball. Every shot was contested, passes were deflected, and they just took Louisville out of the game that they wanted to play.
Yeah, some of the numbers are staggering. So Tennessee plus 28 paint points. They're plus 16 on the glass. Hepburn draws the foul. Chucky Hepburn going to the free throw line. And there's a lot that Louisville, this group, as it continues to gel, as it continues to come together and blend together, there's a lot that they'll take from this for sure. With Winthrop around the corner, or rather Bellarmine, excuse me, the next game coming up.
Yeah, I think a key word you said right there is gel. I mean, bringing that many new guys into a program and, trying to figure out what their roles are and how they can play together. It's going to take a little bit, right? But we know he has a talent, and, the guy at the head of the snake, Coach Pat Kelsey, he's going to look at the film, he's going to break it down, he's going to get these guys ready for the next game.
And again, many of these transfers, high-level, productive players where they were previously, many of them with NCAA tournament experience, including the guy at the free throw line. So it feels like there's an urgency here. A lot of these transfers, it's their final year of college hoops. They want to do something here. And boy, was it a difficult test today. It certainly was against the reigning SEC champs. Did some good things as well. They just really could never get over the hump after Tennessee took a 10-0 lead right out of the chute. Estrella gets blocked at the rim. Waterman blocks him a second time. And Rain Smith pulls it away. There's a foul there on Estrella. Louisville was just never able to put that run together to try to slap away double digit. They've been down by double digits for the majority of the game.
Yeah, and the one thing you want to give credit to the Louisville basketball team is they didn't stop competing.
For sure.
And that's a big thing. And a lot of times you learn more in the losses than you do in the wins, right? And so I think in a way this is good for this Louisville basketball team. They can learn from it, they can get better from it, and then move on to the next game.
Rain Smith, a bit more of a productive second half. Hit 3 triples. He's one of a couple of Cougars that Pat Kelsey brought with him. But it does feel like Louisville will be headed in the right direction, and it feels like they have got somebody at the controls here in Pat Kelsey, who will work relentlessly along with his staff to elevate this program back into the upper echelon of the ACC. Longtime disciple of coaching icon Skip Prosper. It's one of his mentors. He still quotes him feverishly throughout days and practices. Waterman misfires from deep. And so this one's in the books. Tennessee took an early double-digit lead, led for almost the majority of this game, and really overwhelmed Louisville at times. Defensively, it's a 22-point victory for the Vols. They start 2-0, and now there's Rick Barnes with his 204th win at Tennessee. Tied for second now in program history in wins.
Yeah, class act. Rick Barnes, one of the greatest of all time. Be just happy for him and this Tennessee basketball program.
So that does it for us here in Louisville. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. For Eric Devendorf and our entire great crew, I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, saying so long from Louisville. ACC Huddle is coming up next. Here's Taylor Tannenbaum and the crew.